Good evening and welcome. We understand that we have a caller into our program this evening. And welcome. Again, welcome this evening to the Safe Routes to School Hoover Street Elementary Safety Project event. And we thank you for joining us this evening, and we will get started momentarily. Please note that we are hosting this as a simulcast in English and Spanish. So again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Margot Ocañas. I am the Director of Safe Routes to School. And we are excited about sharing proposed improvements for the Hoover Street Elementary School neighborhood. I am the lead for Safe Routes to School, which is a program of the Los Angeles Department of Transportation. And we are pleased to be hosting this meeting with the Office of Councilmember Gil Sedillo. Tonight is in fact the culmination of 3 years of our engagement with the school community. We engaged parents and students and school administration and our city engineers really to envision a neighborhood with safer and more comfortable streets for our students and their families that walk to and from school. And their input has been really instrumental in determining the treatments that we include in the Hoover Street Safe Routes to School plan, which we'll review shortly. We are also pleased to have this opportunity to engage you, the broader community. And our aspiration is that the safety improvements that we're proposing in this plan will benefit all of the community members. And to bring this project one step closer to reality, our team, in partnership with the council office, is preparing a grant application. So at this time, this is a proposed plan, and depending on our success with the application at the state level, we will be able to build this out in the future. But before we begin our review, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Kevin Acabillo, with our department's External Affairs Division. Understandably, we need no reminding of the challenges we face during these COVID pandemic times. So in the spirit of our mission to continue to deliver a safe and livable and well-run transportation system, we'd like to share some important COVID-related sources that are available to local businesses, to residents, and restaurants. Kevin?
Thank you, Margot. Good evening. First, I want to share a general information website with you on LADOT's coronavirus response. You can find a bunch of information at ladot.lacity.org/coronavirus, which will cover most of the things that I'll be covering in the next 2 slides, and is a general catch-all for you folks who want to learn more. LADOT has been leading the way and supporting in various functions our city and small businesses in response to COVID-19. To support our small restaurants, one of the first programs we launched was a free pickup and delivery loading zone for food and restaurants. And what this does is it converts a on-street parking space where you normally would park your car on the street and pay at a meter, and reserves that space as a loading zone to facilitate the pickup and delivery of food. Another exciting program that we launched not too long ago is LA Al Fresco, and this program allows restaurants to convert private space, sidewalk space, and sometimes even street space into outdoor dining areas. And this is really meant to make up for the restricted indoor dining capacities that restaurants are subject to comply with public health and safety guidelines. Another important resource for small businesses is the LA Care Corps support with economic injury, disaster loans, and paycheck protection program. And this program is helpful for all of those who are looking at how to get some more cash flow into their businesses, and they are still accepting applications. Next slide, please. LADOT has the core function of us has really been supporting our residents. Most recently, we launched the LA Slow Streets program, and this program allows neighbors and residents to nominate neighborhood streets to close them down to through traffic so that residents can stay physically active while remaining socially distant. This program was set up in response to the closure of our parks and other traditional recreational spaces to make sure that we're able to keep our physical activity up. We're also offering free dash rides and reduced parking enforcement that has been extended through August 15th. It's possible that the LA City Council may extend reduced parking enforcement even further, but you should check the website for the specific categories that that qualify for limited parking enforcement, and also if there are going to be any extensions. LADOT has also been freezing parking fines. We're helping transporting our unsheltered Angelinos off the streets and into emergency shelters that have been set up by the city all throughout. We're also supporting traffic operations at food pantries, school lunch programs, and the various COVID-19 testing sites all throughout the city. We're also creating special loading zones for essential services such as hospitals, assisting with senior meal delivery. And we're also sanitizing all of our transit and dockless vehicles, at the same time introducing speed reduction campaigns and improvements. So with that said, I'd like to hand it back to Margot. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. For those of you that, so in that spirit, we're very sorry that we don't actually have the opportunity to meet with you in person. Please know that your engagement with us is very valuable, and we are fortunate to have this platform with the tools so that we may hear from you. And although your audio and visual will be muted during my presentation, please know that throughout this meeting, you are welcome to submit a question, a clarification, or a comment in the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. And our preference is if you could please use the Q&A icon as opposed to the chat icon. Our staff will be monitoring the Q&A section throughout, and at the end of my review of the plan treatments, we'll be happy to respond to those questions. So again, your participation is really encouraged. We will similarly be hosting 2 polls in which a small box will appear on your screen, and you'll be able to select your answers, and we can see the results in real time. So I think we're ready to get started, and it is my honor to introduce Luis Gonzalez, our Senior Field Deputy for the Office of Councilmember Gil Sedillo.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Margot, for your leadership on this Safe Route to School program. For Councilmember Gil Sedillo, his biggest priority is always being the safety of everyone, especially those that need to walk from and to school, the kids and everybody else that uses our city streets, city sidewalks. So for this, it's been his priority to partner with different entities and departments such as the Department of Transportation, so we can improve the sidewalks, we can improve the streets, so we can make it safer for all of you. I would like to thank the Department of Transportation, Margot Canas, and the Safe Route to School team, because for the last 3 years, it's been like a lot of hours working on this. And thanks to all of the input that you have provided to us, after all this, we have been able to actually come up with plans that hopefully we're gonna have to get it as a grant, and they can make it a reality. For this, thank you, and I hope that you can see all the stuff that Margot is gonna present today. You can take it in, and with that, you can provide us with the input that we need to make it a better project. So with that, thank you so much.
Thank you, Luis. For those of you that may not be familiar with Safe Routes, we are a partnership program of our home department, the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, and the Los Angeles Unified School District. And these 2 large agencies really have a shared mission to increase the safety, as Louise mentioned, of those youth that are and bicycling in our city, but also to encourage not only our youth and their families, but to actually consider increasing their walking, be it to school or to work or to recreation. So our three main focus areas are safety education, which we conduct with the students either in the classroom, on the schoolyard, or in safety assemblies. And we also host encouragement activities such as Walk to School Day every October. Hopefully you've seen us on the streets. And then lastly, and a really large portion of our program is that planning and designing and implementing those infrastructure changes in our streets, with the primary goal of calming the speeds of vehicles and also design that will inform our people who are driving to behave in a slower and reduced speed manner to really protect those vulnerable populations, specifically our youth in the school zone. So when planning these street improvements, we really want to ensure that we're understanding those safety concerns of the local community. And for this reason, in October of 2018, we hosted a walking safety assessment. Together, we walked the neighborhood. We had parents and educators, members of the district staff, identifying those locations that really felt either uncomfortable or unsafe, and identified them through not only the walk through the neighborhood, but ultimately in a workshop that followed that, where our community members actually presented to our team and the city engineers. Those city engineers then used the input that they heard from the community to really determine the types of treatments and the locations where they would be most effective. And all of these treatments rolled together produced something called the Hoover Street Elementary Safe Routes to School Plan. So we'll take a look at a couple of the key features from this plan. The first treatment, which we use rather robustly throughout the neighborhood, are curb extensions. And these really expand the size of the curb. They bring the curb further into the street, so that actually gives drivers better visibility to the pedestrians who are waiting to cross, and they're not hidden behind parked cars. And these extended curbs also shortened the distance and the time that people need to cross. And lastly, these extensions really tighten the angle of the corner, so it slows vehicles that are turning into the street. In addition, we will be installing high visibility crosswalks, which really more effectively spotlight that location in the street dedicated to the pedestrian. Our speed humps reduce speed. Lower speeds are really critically important on those major streets such as Francis and James L. Wood, that are where large volumes of students are entering and exiting the school campus. We will also, at high use intersections, we will use something called lead pedestrian interval, which is a pedestrian signal timing that allows the pedestrians to begin into the crosswalk before the signal for the drivers begin. And the reason that is important is that that provides much greater visibility to the driver of the pedestrians that are in the crosswalk, and really reducing the conflict between the turning traffic and the pedestrian. And specifically, we're excited about a rather innovative reconfiguration at the corner of Hoover and 8th Street, which, as you may know, is a major intersection just adjacent to the school. And we're proposing a reconfiguration that prioritizes comfort and calm in that area, so that not only residents, but customers as well who are visiting the fashion or the home goods or the grocery stores in that area, as well as the local restaurants, that there's much more of a sense of a Main Street feel, rather than an area that feels heavily focused on the vehicle traffic. But we'll review this particular location in a little bit more detail in just a moment. But we're excited to have you join us this evening, and would like to learn a little bit more about you and generally how you travel through the area. So you should see a 2-question poll on your screen. And the objective is sort of question number one is whether in fact you know or have children at Hoover Street Elementary School, just to get a sense of what that connection is with the school community. And second, really for walking in the neighborhood, destinations that you enjoy walking to. So we'll give you a few moments to move through these poll questions, and likewise you may scroll. If you're not able to see all the options, by all means scroll through the poll. And I'll partner with Kevin, who'll keep an eye on the input and then kind of report back on summarizing those poll results. So again, thanks for taking time to give us a little bit of insight about who you are and your movement through the neighborhood.
Thanks, Margot. So the poll's been up for about a minute, and it looks like we're starting to get a couple of votes trickling in. So I'll just give it a few more minutes and we'll move on to the next segment.
Absolutely. And again, helpful to hear from you. We're very fortunate to have a really large and engaged group with the school community, or of the school community, who provide us input. So really excited to hear from you if in fact you have not participated in the earlier walking safety assessment. So just take a few more seconds, and Kevin, feel free to let me know.
I think we'll probably give it another minute. So far we have just a few votes in, but I know there's a couple more attendees out there who might be getting their bearings.
Great. Maybe sort of want to think back on some of your more enjoyable walks in the neighborhood, and whether you have visited it sort of in an evening to visit a restaurant, during the day to do some errands, visiting family and friends within the neighborhood. And sometimes even if you are driving through the neighborhood, the moment that you take to walk to your car or otherwise, just sort of thinking about how you move through the neighborhood, that would be great.
Okay, so we have a couple more votes that have trickled in. I'm gonna give it about 30 more seconds. So if you're looking at your screen, please make sure to get your votes in. About 15 more seconds.
Thank you. And once you see these results, that will really be helpful input as we are excited to really dissect some of the individual treatments around that Hoover and 8th Street intersection. So.
Okay, so this was the first poll. I'm going to go ahead and close it now. So if you're just finishing up, please make sure to get those in. And I'll close it. All right. So just want to start off to say that we've got half the folks who are attending tonight have decided we're able to vote. And so for the first question, do you have or know children that walk to Hoover Elementary School? All of the participants answered yes, so that's a good sign. And do you enjoy walking in the neighborhood too? And they were asked to select some locations: travel to work, school, those daily necessary trips. Everybody said that. And then at least one person said to go for groceries or personal household items, also to visit family or friends, or to do other business in the neighborhood.
Great. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Kevin. And I think what that really reinforces is that as much as people do groceries and visiting friends, that the one thing that really happens almost daily is work and school. So really reinforces that this area is very heavily used on a daily basis by community members. So all the more reason to really ensure we're doing the best we can in improving the safety. So great. Thank you, Kevin. Now, as you know, Hoover Street obviously serves many constituents within the community. And in fact, nearly 70% of Hoover Street students do walk to school, and that's a large school of 800 students. So quite a few students who, many of them are using this intersection. So what we'd like to do is kind of walk you through some of the existing safety concerns, starting with on the northeast corner of Hoover and 8th, that you can see there, that's a very soft kind of angle. And because of that, it really allows traffic that's heading west on 8th Street, should it turn up Hoover Street, really that soft corner allows them to keep up their speed. Similarly, drivers moving north on Hoover, or again, turning off of 8th onto Hoover, are actually, because of the angle of the street, there's really challenging sight lines so that they get really up on top of that crosswalk on Rampart Boulevard before they may recognize that there's a pedestrian there. So that can be disturbing both for a driver as well as for a pedestrian. And similarly, Rampart Boulevard itself, due to that sort of wide and easy access, allows those cars moving up Rampart Boulevard to keep their speed right into the neighborhood, which again, you know, our objective is that streets within the neighborhoods remain calm. But in addition, given that there's a very large amount of space in this area, it can feel very uncomfortable for people who are walking or bicycling. And it actually creates a lot of underutilized space, considering that, as we've mentioned, it's really surrounded with some great destinations. Again, the clothes shopping and the grocery market and some businesses and restaurants, etc. So that design, again, the design is not all that conducive to sort of calmly knitting a walking route between many of these destinations. So this project really provides us a platform to improve an overall environment. So let me walk through a couple of these. As I shared, there are curb extensions up towards the northern end of the area. And these help to really shorten the crossing distance, as well as to slow the speed of the turning vehicles. By shifting the entrance of Rampart Boulevard further north and away from the immediate intersection of Hoover and 8th, it really streamlines how the vehicles can move through that space, which makes it a lot more predictable and understandable where the pedestrians may move. And with these more tightly designed corners, again, traffic will be calmed as it moves into the Rampart neighborhood. The original lane actually becomes an above curb plaza area where residents and customers can sort of mingle peacefully as they move between the destinations of the area. And there will be opportunity to consider shade or landscaping or other accoutrements to that plaza space. A calmer area really invites people to linger and maybe, again, meet their neighbors or chat with the shop owners, and really prioritizes this space for pedestrians as opposed to the people in the vehicles who are speeding through the intersection. And lastly, the large curb extension on the, again, the northeast corner of Hoover and 8th, provides more waiting space. Right now, that's a very constrained waiting area. So the enlarged curb extension provides more waiting space for people who are going to be crossing and making them more visible to the drivers. So our goal is to take the current environment and encourage you in envisioning a transformed condition. So with that in mind, I will ask Kevin if he might host the second to get a little bit of input on the components of this improvement that may resonate most. So the question is there a particular improvement within this transformed intersection that most resonates with you? And similarly, while you're thinking about how to answer this poll, by all means, feel free to use the Q&A box to convey questions or your comments, your feedback about how you feel about this improvement, because that's a great way for us to track your input as well. So Kev, I'll let you let me know if there's some movement through the poll.
Will do. Since launching, looks like people are still thinking about the answers, lots of big considerations to make, so I'll leave the poll up for about another minute.
No, absolutely. And really all the components sort of fit together like a puzzle piece. So maybe hard to discern which one you actually like most. Perhaps it's people are just so excited about all of them. But thank you for kind of spotlighting one that may actually resonate, sort of based on your own experience in that space, which one of the components of that intersection transformation may be of most interest to you.
Okay, I see one person has completed their voting. For the folks who haven't had the chance yet, you still got about another minute. So I encourage you to please participate and let us know which improvement you like the most.
And remember, this is really a space that is almost a crossroads or a main street area for so many of those destinations, where, as we saw, people are using those routes every day for walking and to school and work. But we also saw that people like to visit the restaurants and the local shops. So again, in your own experience, are there any components that really, again, strike you as most interesting?
All right, folks, we have about 30 more seconds for you to participate in the poll if you like. Really want to hear from you, so I encourage you to click the one that you like the most.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. It's very helpful for not only our team, as I've mentioned earlier, we are partnering with the council office to pursue an application to build this out. So at this time, there is not actually funding for it, but we are preparing an application to go forward to secure the funding, or hopefully win the funding, to be able to build this project out. So really value your thoughts on these project components.
All right, I'm going to close it in about 10 seconds. Just a quick reminder, you're able to choose one of these options. So please go ahead and choose if you haven't had the chance to already. And I'm going to go ahead and close it now, and I'll share the results. All right, so of the people who voted, it looks like shorter crossing distances and the new pedestrian plaza are the elements in which people are most excited about, looking for ways to improve the pedestrian realm.
Excellent. Thank you so much for participating, and thank you, Kevin. I'm glad to know that the plaza actually may be a new potential community gathering anchor. But let me actually just put this particular area of Hoover and 8th Street into the bigger context of where we go from here. We've reviewed this evening most of the treatments within the Hoover Street Elementary School plan. The reality is that the application that we're preparing to go look for infrastructure funds is actually going to bundle Hoover Street Elementary with Leo Politi and Magnolia Avenue Elementary Schools and its feeder school, Barindo Middle School. The reason being that all of these schools are in very close proximity. This is also a very densely populated area, such that we believe by building a comprehensive network between all 4 schools that we have all the more ability to really bring positive in to a larger portion of the community. So with that in mind, again, thank you if you've had the opportunity to enter any comments into or questions into the Q&A box. And with that, I will take a moment actually to walk through the actual implementation or the timeline for the application. So the Safe Routes to School, again, in partnership with the council office, is preparing an application that we will submit in mid-September. And we anticipate hearing back from the state in early 2022. At 21, I'm sorry. At that time, we will then move, should the project secure monies, we will move into the design phase in 2022 with the construction needing to be completed by 2025. We have, with the council office in the past, with some of our funded projects, found a way to bring some of the improvements into the community using some lower materials and near-term installations to bring some of those improvements to the streets before 2025. Just because we know that that can be some weight, and we want to effectuate some changes before then. So again, we're currently just in an application phase with the hope that there will be good news in early 2021. So again, my apologies now. We can transition to a Q&A forum, and I will ask our Safe Routes to School team member, Jay, if there are some questions that you would like to forward to our team.
Hi, Margot. Thank you. We actually don't have any questions in the Q&A box at this time. If any of the attendees on the computer would like to type anything into the Q&A box, this is a great chance to pose any questions you have following this presentation.
Excellent. And Luis, if there's anything that you, from the council office side, if there's anything that perhaps that I haven't touched on in detail that you would like to call out, I'd be happy to respond to that.
No, basically, I just wanted to reemphasize that this is not a funded project. It's something that we are going to take for a grant application. So hopefully, you know, with all the input and everything, we can have a very strong, you know, proposal. So like we can get funded and we can make it a reality. So basically, I think that's one of the questions that some of the community has asked in the past is, what about parking, right? Like it's one of the things that people are always concerned about.
Mm-hmm. No, that is a fair question. What I will do is ask Brianne to return to the schematic of the future vision of the Hoover and 8th Street. And we did a bit of a tally, and currently there is quite a bit of red curb already existing on Rampart Boulevard. So we anticipate perhaps the loss of 2 to 3 parking spaces should this project actually be put into place. So I think there's very minimal parking impact, and naturally we want to be sensitive to that. It is a very, again, densely populated area. The other thing that I would share is that it is very important to our program and to the council office that should this project be awarded, that between the time of award and the beginning of design, we return to the community to revisit the elements. We certainly can't ask you to remember these things a year or a couple of years later. So it's very important for us to return to the community and have those forums where we're discussing the treatments, providing some overview of the benefit of those treatments. And there are always opportunities for the community input at that time to inform some of the design decisions. So what you're seeing now is very much conceptual for the purposes of the state, but there is continued engagement that happens throughout the duration of this project after it is awarded. Good question, Luis. So I will do that. And Jay, any other further questions, or have we sort of answered everybody's concerns?
I think everybody's concerns or questions have been answered.
Excellent. Well, Luis and Ricardo, any last words or farewells to the community? But if there is nothing else, then we will bring the presentation to a close. But as I mentioned, I'm happy to support the council office with future engagement and communication.
Thank you. And if it's possible, this presentation for whoever will not be able to make it.
Certainly.
And for those who are attending right now, the presentation, we are recording, so we will be make it available for those who couldn't make it today. So you are part of a school or your neighbors or your other businesses that you know, that might be interested in this presentation, let me know, because in that way we can make it available to them so they can see the designs, the concepts, and in that way we can like, even though they couldn't make it today, they can still like see the project. Thank you so much, Margot, for this, and thank you for your team for putting this together.
Absolutely. And we'll follow up and put those tools up for the community. Thanks again, everybody. Have a lovely evening and please stay well and healthy. Thanks so much.